At my sister's pre-wedding dinner, my mother grinned slyly and said, "I only reserved plates for family." So I had no dish in front of me. "Am I family or not?" I asked quietly. "Not now." "Not here," she mumbled, still eating. I stepped into the hallway and dialed the wedding coordinator. He said, "Your family removed your name from the guest list, but the $50,000 deposit is non-refundable." The room went quiet when I returned and spoke words no one saw coming. "My name's Ethan. I'm 32, the eldest child. I'm the one they call in a crisis, the guy who arrives with tools and a paid invoice. I oversee maintenance at a city bus depot, handling vehicles that groan in the cold, radios that work only when smacked, and time clocks that sulk on Mondays. After hours, I repair laptops on my dining table, sorting spare screws into old spice jars because I find comfort in tidiness. I live in a cramped apartment above a tailor's shop that smells of fabric stiffener and faded rumors. My freezer holds ice, frozen wontons, and a sealed envelope marked taxes. I hate surprises unless they're extra digits on a paycheck. My sister, Skylar, is 27, the golden child since preschool's loudest performer. She designs vision boards for a living, or so she claims. Mom calls her our shining star, as if the rest of us are shadows. When I ask, "What's the cost?" Mom snaps, "Don't be stingy." When Skylar says, "I have an idea," Mom applauds like it's a live show. Our family loves talking about energy in a home that never had a financial plan. Skylar got engaged to Theo in spring, a guy in cozy cardigans, flashy watches, never carrying cash. He posts about hustle from cafe tables. He calls waitstaff chief, and my mother majesty. The rehearsal dinner was at a trendy spot with vintage bulbs, tiny plants, and a private room that looks better online than in reality. I wore my only suit jacket, the one that makes me look like I settle my bills ahead of schedule. The table was a long, pristine stretch, with name cards in silver script. Everyone had a drink already. I placed a card on the gift table, handwritten note, modest check, then took the last seat at the end. As salads were served, the waiter glided in a neat circuit and skipped me. A plate for Cousin Derek, a plate for Aunt Leela, nothing for me. The waiter glanced at his device. "Hey," I said softly, "I think you forgot one." He cringed. "I was told to serve family only," he whispered, clearly wishing he were elsewhere. Before I could respond, Mom leaned past a bouquet of peonies and smirked like a fox in a spotlight. "Ethan, I only ordered for family," she said, spearing lettuce. The table let out that awkward chuckle people use when they think it's a joke but hope it is. Skylar fiddled with her napkin like it needed precision folding. Thea raised his glass. "Don't take it personally, big guy," he said over the candlelight. "Tonight's about joy." I stared at the empty spot where my plate should have been. "Am I family or not?" I asked, voice steady. You don't need to shout to make a point. The question landed like a pebble on the table. "Don't start this. Not here," Mom muttered, chewing. My chair scraped lightly as I stood. I tucked it back in because even upset, I don't leave chaos. The hallway smelled of citrus and dishwater. A framed photo reflected my face. Decent tie, weary eyes, a guy who can spot the loose screw in any system. My phone pinged, showing 2 reminders I'd set that morning. Venue balance confirmation and lighting vendor deposit pickup. Below them, an email from the coordinator with the subject guest list update. I didn't open it. Behind the door, Theo's laugh burst like a firecracker. "He'll be fine," he said to someone. "Ethan's always intense." I stared at my phone until the words cleared. Then I called the coordinator. He answered on the second ring, upbeat but exhausted, planner tone. "Hey Ethan, we set for the venue check tomorrow." "I'm at the rehearsal dinner," I said. "Quick question. Can the family liaison cut someone from the guest count without the contract holder's approval?" A pause like he sat down. "They did it, didn't they? Who's the contract holder for the venue?" "Me," I said. "I signed for the hall and lighting through my business account. That's why we got the discount." I shut my eyes. "So if they dropped me from the invite?" "Their liaison asked us to remove you from the ceremony and dinner," he said cautiously. "But the deposit's yours. The $50,000 is tied to the date. It's gone unless the venue rebooks the same slot at full price." He sighed. "I'm sorry. Are there any pending charges on my card beyond what I approved?" "No," he said. "And per your terms, only you can authorize additions. They can't even if they beg." "Good," I said. I pressed my forehead against the cool wall for a long breath. "Thanks. Want me to mediate?" he offered softly. "I can fake a vendor crisis." "No," I said. "I'm handling it differently." When I returned, the room was mid-toast. People smiled at pretty phrases. My spot was still empty. I eased into my chair and rested my hands on the table. "Everything okay?" Skylar asked, eyes on her fork. "Yeah," I said, "just needed a second to breathe." It didn't start with a missing plate, it started with a utility bill. I was 19 when Mom said, "Put the electric in your name just for now. The system trusts you, you're reliable." In our house, just for now is a promise that never ends. 3 years later, when I tried to switch it back, she wept into a kitchen towel and said, "You don't abandon family." That was the pattern. Skylar learned the follow-up line. "You're so uptight." At 21, Skylar tried college for a semester, then content creation, then multi-level marketing, then I'm building my brand. She's great at looking busy while asking for cash. A typical message. Skylar, "Cards acting up. Can you cover my flight? I'll pay you back Friday." Mom, "Be generous." Me, "How much?" Skylar, "Not much. $347.16. Me, "That's a lot." Skylar, "I'll pay you back." Me, "Okay." Notes app, $347.16 Friday. I keep a spreadsheet called Family Ledger. It started as a way to stay calm, not yell. It became a shield, line by line. Skylar, phone bill, $69. Mom, water, $31. Skylar, ER copay, $220. Mom, car repair, $380. Skylar, rent shortfall, $650. In the notes, I'm honest with myself. Friday means never, no repeat. Get receipt. The total isn't the issue. The expectation is. When Skylar met Theo, the requests dressed up as opportunities. He pitched ideas like a motivational speaker to someone who can't afford the seminar. "We can grow if we streamline," he told me, hands folded over a spreadsheet he printed in 12-point Arial-like that made it legitimate. "It's inefficient for you to pay rent when you could invest. You could claim the wedding as a business expense through your LLC. My LLC fixes city radios, Theo." He grinned like that was the point. "What if we made a family LLC as our hub?" Mom gobbled up those words like dessert. "He's so clever," she said later. "Why can't you be more open, Ethan?" Money in our house came from me and went to them. The wedding began with an email chain. Team Skylar plus Theo plus Daniel, coordinator. Daniel's a pro with cheerful email subjects and daunting spreadsheets. Tabs for venue, catering, flowers, lighting, experience, and guarantors. That last one because the venue needed a backer. I have solid credit because I dread late fees. Guess who they all turned to? "The venue locks in with 40%, Daniel said on the first call. $50,000, refundable only if a miracle books the same date at full price. The guarantor approves all vendor charges. No one else can add costs. That's how you keep the rate." "Who's the guarantor?" I asked. "You if you sign," he said. I said no. Then I said yes to just the hall and lighting because I hate disorder and thought controlling the gate would stop the flood. I used my repair business account as the guarantor since the venue required a corporate profile. I asked Daniel to write in the contract that no charges could be added without my written consent. He did. I paid the $50,000 as a gift, telling myself it was for peace. Then came the extras, a Prosecco wall. "We're known for bubbles." No, they're not. A floral arch, once-in-a-lifetime aesthetic. Indoor fireworks, fully safe. A live artist, collectible art. A charcuterie board, unforgettable spread. A midnight burrito bar, non-negotiable. Each came with a deadline. "They'll hold it if we pay today." I said no to most. "What did we agree on?" "Don't be cheap," Mom texted. "It's pocket change," Theo said about a 5-figure add-on. "It's not pocket change," I said. "It's a used truck." We had planning sessions at Mom's with Daniel on speaker, muted, helpful. Skylar wrote vibe on a whiteboard like it was a command. "No conflict," she said. "No negativity." She aimed her marker at me gently. "No sour faces in photos." Mom added, "We want to look like a flawless family in the pictures." It lingered. It grew stale. A week before the rehearsal, an email slipped in. "Guest list update?" I glanced at it at a red light and nearly hit a van. "Remove Ethan Hart. Per family liaison, he will not attend ceremony or dinner. Keep him CC'd for vendor purposes." I pulled over, breathed into my coat, and called Daniel. "I didn't remove myself," I said. "I know," he said, voice heavy with the part of his job that's family therapy for people who think money is a mood. "Is the $50,000 secure?" "It's in," he said. "It stays unless another couple pays the exact amount for your exact date. They won't. It's a prime slot." "Can I block further charges?" "Yes," he said. "Your contract already does. They can't add anything. Only you can approve." I drafted an email to lock authorizations and didn't send it. I wanted to see if Mom could say family only to my face. She did. Skylar watched it hit and acted like she couldn't hear. Theo raised a glass and tossed out vague words. I went to the citrus hallway and called Daniel. He confirmed what I knew. When I returned, I decided something rare. I'd stop managing their emotions and start managing mine. The small truth first, then the big one. Nobody wants a speech from the guy at the end. I didn't give one. I stood behind my chair until a toast finished. Then I picked up my water and spoke to the table like I was telling a driver their tire was flat. 2 things. Not now, Mom said reflexively. First, I said, staring at the empty space before me. Am I family or not? Candles flickered, forks froze, the vintage bulbs seemed to buzz louder. Second, I said, pulling an envelope from my jacket. I didn't wave it like proof. I set it on the tablecloth between me and Mom. This is a decision. I slid out 2 pages, marked Choice A and Choice B in bold black font because I work with people who need clear labels to avoid mistakes. Choice A, I said, looking at Skylar, not fighting a man who calls me big guy. You keep everything as planned. The venue, the date, the lights. My $50,000 stays as a one-time gift. In return, we're finished after the wedding. No more requests. No emergency calls. No using my name for anything. No quick favors that cost my rent. I step away. I won't ruin your week. I won't attend. The story you tell others doesn't include me, and neither does your budget. I'll put the boundary in writing so it's clear. Mom's breath was sharp. Choice B, I went on, ignoring her. I transfer the contract to you 2 by morning. The venue needs a new guarantor and card for the balance. You signed to repay me the $50,000 over 24 months. No interest. No fuss. In return, I attend as your real brother, eat a meal, stand where you place me, and we try to be a family with receipts, not a photo that pretends. Theo laughed, joyless. You think you're a lender? I think I'm done being one, I said. Skylar reached for the paper like it might burn her. This is harsh. No, I said. This is honest. Mom used her lecture tone, the one that makes a fight feel like a group hug. You won't make us pick over a dinner, she said. You made a choice at dinner when you told the waiter I wasn't family, I said, finally facing her. I'm giving you an adult way to match the adult decision you already made. Daniel appeared near the host's stand, like someone who puts out fires for a living. He stayed back, phone in hand, neutral as a spreadsheet. Theo reached for Choice A with a smirk. We'll take the gift and the quiet, he said like he'd won a bet. Skylar's hand stopped his. Wait, he scoffed. Babe, she didn't look at him. She looked at me like when she was 6 and I showed her how to knot her laces. What does finished mean? She asked. It means Mom sends me photos of clouds but not bills. It means if you need cash, you ask someone else. It means my life isn't a group vote. She blinked hard. Mascara doesn't like honesty. Theo tried a new tactic. You're making it about money, he said. This is about love. It's about a plate, I said, and a habit. Aunt Leela, who doesn't like me but respects fairness, folded her napkin. Let them decide, Marla. Mom's jaw clenched like she was biting gravel. Choice A, she said finally, voice cold. The deposit stays, he can go. There it was, the truth I'd been heading toward since 19. Skylar's lips shook. She looked at the paper. Can I think about B until morning? She asked. Yes, I said. The venue needs a name by 10, Theo snorted. We're not signing anything with you. Then A is simple, I said, placing a pen by the paper. Initial here, Daniel will get the boundary letter tonight. The venue gets the form tomorrow, cutting my name from everything after the event. You won't be able to ask me for anything because you won't have access. Theo opened his mouth. Shut it, he looked at his father who had wealth posture, not hustle posture. The older man shook his head, small, weary. Skylar took the pen, her hand wavered. Ethan, she said, voice faint. Will you hate me? I tried hating you, I said. It didn't stick, this does. She signed Choice A. Mom exhaled like a furnace. Theo grinned like he'd caught a ride. Congratulations, I said, meaning it like a period. I tucked Choice B back in the envelope. I retrieved my card from the gift table, leaving my note inside. I hope your day is what you say it'll be. Theo called after me. Say hi to your spreadsheets. People laughed because that's what they do when they're scared to pick a side. I walked out, no door slam. The hallway smelled of citrus again. Daniel caught my eye and gave the tiniest nod possible. My phone buzzed. Daniel, received, signed A. I sent a photo of Skylar's initials. Daniel, copy. Your access ends 12:01 a.m. post-event. I switched my phone to airplane mode. My hand steadied in the elevator. Morning brought clarity. Sleep does that when you let it. Texts came before my coffee. Mom 702. You shamed us. Mom 704. You owe Skylar an apology. Mom 705. You should feel guilty. Mom 7:12. I can't believe you forced a choice. Me 9:15. Money requests via email only. I won't answer texts about logistics. Boundaries attached. I attached a PDF I'd written at my dining table the night before. Boundary letter Ethan Hart. Bullet points like a manual for survival. I don't back family purchases. I don't put my name on bills, rentals, tickets, or emergency forms. I don't lend. If I give, it's a gift. If I refuse, it's a no. Money discussions happen by email. I don't stay in spaces that disrespect me. If family excludes me socially, it excludes me financially. It felt absurd to write my own rules. It also felt like building a fence to keep out chaos. Daniel replied to another thread. Venue confirms your access ends 12:01 a.m. post-event. No unapproved charges. They can't add anything. It's a strange limbo. Me, thanks for staying decent. Daniel, it's my job. At lunch, Marco at the depot asked, you okay? The way guys ask when they're offering a wrench, not a hug. Better, I said, meaning it. I spent the afternoon untangling my auto pays from joint accounts Mom had convinced me to open, to simplify. I called the power company and finally moved the service out of my name. 20 minutes on hold. One sentence to a rep. I'm not the resident. A click that felt like freedom. I closed a credit card Mom still had linked to her apps. I changed my bank password to random bus parts no one else knows. I froze my credit because saying no aloud makes some people inventive. By 4 p.m., the family group chat, full of gossip and wild theories, renamed itself Joyful and booted me. A cousin sent screenshots with one message. For what it's worth, I understand. I didn't reply because I don't need allies who murmur. The wedding day arrived. I did laundry. I fixed a friend's laptop and charged full price for the first time. I walked to the river that smells like coins in summer and iron in winter. At 2 p.m., Daniel texted, they cut flowers by half. Band skipped second break to save money. They're saying you at work. Me, let them. Daniel. Want photos? Me, no. At 5 p.m., Mom sent a dawn photo with God provides and no sorry. I liked it and said nothing. At 11:40 p.m., Skylar sent, we did it. Then, I'm scared you'll be gone from my life. Me 7:12 a.m. I'll be in my life. You're welcome when you can be kind without asking for a loan. 12:01 a.m. hit. Daniel texted, your access is done. Venue's theirs. Be well, Ethan. Me, you too. A week later, an envelope arrived, no sender. Inside, a $120 check and a sticky note. For that flight, I said Friday. I stared for a minute. Deposited the check, kept the note. Not for the money, for the sentence where she finally named which Friday. People expected me to explode or fold. I did neither. I went back to the depot. I showed Nico how to crimp a wire without ruining it. He said, why didn't anyone teach me this? I said, because they wanted you to think it's magic. Theo texted twice. Man, we need to talk. And you made me look bad. I didn't reply because his words are hooks with commas. Mom tried a new tactic. She showed up at my building, buzzing every unit because she knows mine's broken. I texted. Email, she wrote. Stop being so formal. I wrote, boundary letter applies in person. She left a bag of apples and a note. Don't let them make you cold. I ate the apples, tossed the note. I can separate fruit from advice. The quiet wasn't loneliness. It was a space I leased for myself. 9 weeks later, the wedding album went online. People in warm light, hands on hands. The pricey photographer caught laughter that looks like magic. My seat isn't in the photos because it didn't exist. That's okay. Most of my life doesn't show up in pictures. Skylar and I text about rain and her attempts at brewing coffee. She sent a photo of a dying plant and asked, how do I fix it? Me, water, drainage, leave it alone more. Her rude, me true. 3 days later, she sent the plant again, alive. No money requests. That felt like real progress, not the vision board kind. Mom still sends Dawn photos and quotes. Sometimes she starts typing, you know Skylar, and I reply email and it stops. We meet at Aunt Leela's for pasta nights sometimes. We talk about weather and desserts. When she mentions that night, I pet the dog. Daniel sends a quarterly venue trends email because I asked. Curiosity, not longing. His last note said, you handled it cleanly, well done. I didn't need the praise. Sometimes I need one line from someone who saw. I kept the boundary letter, taping a shorter version inside my kitchen cupboard where the tea lives. I read it while the kettle grumbles. I don't sign for others' debts. If I give, it's a gift. If I say no, it's final. Money and plans stay written. I leave spaces that disrespect me. If the invite's canceled, so's the wallet. It felt foolish at first. Now it's a manual I wrote for myself. People want a big scene where I stormed back and flipped a table, or a tearful ending where Skylar apologized and we hugged into a fade-out. What happened is smaller and better. I paid what I chose, refused what I didn't, wrote it down, and left the room like you leave a store with a members-only sign. If you want a lesson, here's the boring one that works. Don't bankroll a table that doesn't set a place for you. Don't let family use your name like a discount code. Love freely if you can afford it. Say no softly when you can't. Write your rules clearly, keep them where you brew your tea. This isn't about vengeance, it's about clarity. I still live above the tailor's shop. The machines hum. I still fix radios that'll break again soon and laptops with crumbs like tiny celebrations. Last weekend, I bought a used bike with cash from a jar and rode until my knees ached. It felt like being 11, saving pennies, but this time no one called me selfish for keeping what I earned. When my phone buzzes at an hour that used to make my chest tighten, I check the sender, breathe, and decide. Work. I answer. Family. My cupboard decides. I'm not a backer or a shadow. I'm a man who chooses what he funds, with cash, with time. With quiet.